Hello Gaudi, it's Thursday the 21st of January and welcome to your fourth English lesson this week. Right, so we are going to continue writing our story. For those eager beaver children who have written the story already, which I've noticed on Tapestry, please can you go back and edit and make sure that you've added commas in a list like we explained yesterday, and we're looking at adjectives and conjunctions today. So if you've done it already, please watch yesterday's video and today's video and tomorrow's video also, because we're going to show you how to add commas in a list, conjunctions and adjectives. Right, where's my cursor? Here it is. Right, so again, you'll need your thought shower, you will need your story from yesterday, which I've got one lined up behind me, and your pencil and paper to write on. Right, let's play a quick game. What have you noticed this morning? We've got nouns on the blue side, green side, and we've got verbs on the other. So a noun is a thing, an object you can see, you can touch it and you can feel it. And a verb is an action. So can you all stand up for me? Well done. And when I get the first word, which is broom, if you think it is a noun, you need to jump to the blue side. And if you think it's a verb, you need to jump onto the verb side. Are you ready? So broom, what's a broom? It's something you sweep with. It's a bit of a clue. So a broom is a noun. Well done. Drop. You might drop your pencil, you might drop your water bottle, you might drop the crisps that you're eating. So where would that go? Are we going to go to noun or are we going to go to drop? That's right, it's a verb. Well done. Gaze. Now I used this word yesterday in my writing. Who was it, Dan? He was looking, and we change it to gaze at the stars. That's right, it's a verb. A ladder. Would you like to jump? Are we going to jump to the noun side or the verb side? That's right, it's a noun. It's something you can climb, you can touch, you can see it. Listen, here we go, we've got the word listen. Are we going to put listen into a verb or are we going to put it into a noun? Have a think. Jump to the side you think that we should put listen in. Is it a noun? No, it's not. Listen is a verb, you do it with your ears, hopefully. Right, anchor. So Dan had an anchor and he tied it around himself to hold the boat in place, or to hold the moon in place even. It is a noun. And argue, you might argue with your siblings, you might argue with your friends, you might argue with your parents because you don't want to do the YouTube videos, but you're going to. Right, argue. Noun or verb? That's right, it's a verb. So when you have a little fight, a little discussion. So yesterday we began and we've continued to write a story and we're going to tell the next part of the story. So today's Thursday, we are going to write sentences 5 and 6. And tomorrow, Friday, we're going to finish the story tomorrow. So every day we've taken it 2 steps at a time, 2 sentences, and we're going to write sentences 5 and 6. You would need your thought shower for this one. And again, if you need more ideas, go back and watch the video clip. It should still be in the playlist. Right, here is my idea for my 5th sentence. It's when Dan, he dropped the anchor and he looked at the moon. We're going to use the sentence starter then. After that, I'm going to show you the idea that I've got here that Dad and Granddad argue, and our sentence starter is before long. Right, pause. Stop sharing. Right, yesterday we left off our sentence, and our last sentence that we wrote yesterday was, after he climbed to the top of the ladder, he floated to the moon and he gazed at the shimmering stars. Now, we said we were going to start our sentence with then. So I'm going to write then, just so that I know this is my sentence starter, then. That's not our idea. Now, the idea that we were going to use was that he looked around the moon's surface. There's my idea. He looked around the moon's surface. Now, if my sentence, I use this idea and I write, then he looked around the moon's surface. It's okay, it's not great. So, then he looked around the moon's surface. I want to add a little bit more. What else did he do? What did he do before or after? Let me have a think. Now, I already looked at the video this morning before I started the lesson. So I know that before he looked around, he dropped the anchor. So my sentence is going to be, then he dropped the anchor, because remember we're writing in the past tense. Then he dropped the anchor and looked at the moon's surface. Here's my teddy. Then he dropped the anchor and looked at the moon's surface. Your turn. Then he dropped the anchor and looked at the moon's surface. Now I'm going to whisper it. Then he dropped the anchor and looked at the moon's surface. Right, sentences in my head. Are we ready? Then he dropped, and I remember from yesterday, I'm going to have my lowercase p underneath. Then he dropped, we need to add 2 p's because we've got a vowel there. Ed, it's in the past tense. Then he dropped the anchor. So this, the ch makes a ch sound, but in this word it makes a k sound. It's one of those tricky words that we have to remember. Then he dropped the anchor and looked at the moon. The moon, the surface belongs to the moon, so that it is apostrophe, the moon's surface. Full stop. Now I'm going to read the sentence just to make sure it makes sense. Then he dropped the anchor and looked at the moon's surface. Well, I'm going to do a little check in my head. Did I use a capital letter at the beginning of my sentence? Did I give moon a capital letter? Because it's a special name for the moon, and a full stop. Right, that's quite good. I'm quite happy with that. No, I don't think so either, Gaudi. What did I do? Oh, let's go back and have a look. Then he looked. That looks like a capital K. So we cross it out. We're going to write a small lowercase k, and the moon surface, the F, needs to be under the line. I'm going to show you at the end over here. I'm going to draw the line so you can see it a little bit clearer. Yes. This is our capital F that sits on the line, and our lowercase f under the line. Right. I'm still not too happy with this. Then he dropped the anchor and looked at the moon surface. Yes, he looked, but I think he wanted to venture out. He was amazed because he was gazing at the stars. How about explore? That he wanted to have a look and he wanted to see what was out there. I can change the word looked into explored. Then he dropped the anchor and explored. And he explored the moon's surface. I think I'm happy with that one. Right, our next sentence, we're going to move this slightly down so we can have a look. Right, so we've done this one, and let's move on to our second sentence. And do you remember what we said we would start with? We would start with before long. Here we go, should we write that down? Before long. I remembered my lowercase f. Before long. And the idea was that Dad and Granddad were arguing. I wonder why they were arguing. Can you remember? Why were they arguing? Turn to your teddy. Why were they arguing? Have a little think. Yes, that's up. They were arguing over to see which broom was the best at sweeping up. So before long, his dad and granddad were arguing over the broom. Well, they weren't arguing in the boat. They had to have arrived, that means to get somewhere. So they need to have arrived to the moon. So how about, before long, Granddad and Dad arrived, and Dan listened to them argue over which broom would be better. Should we try that one again? Here we go. Before long, Dad and Granddad arrived. I'm going to start that one again. There we go. Before long, his dad and granddad arrived, and Dan listened to them argue over which broom was better. Are you ready? I think I'm going to have to say that to my teddy again. Here we go. Are you ready? Before long, his dad and granddad arrived, and Dan listened to them argue over which broom worked better. Right, I'm going to write that sentence down. So, before long, his dad and granddad arrived. We need an ed because it's in the past tense. Before long, his dad and granddad arrived, and Dan listened, past tense ed, listened to them argue, start the car, argue over which broom worked Oh, stop. Right, shall we read that through? Before long, his dad and granddad arrived, and Dan listened to them argue over which broom worked better. I'm really impressed with myself this morning, Gaudi, because I know I put all my capital letters in the correct place and my full stop. So let's check. Before, oh dear, capital B. Before long, his dad and granddad arrived, and Dan, look, it's got a capital letter, listened to them argue over which broom worked better, and there's my full stop. I've done a good job here. Oh, no, I think there's another mistake. Teddy said there's another mistake. Which? This witch is the witch that you find in stories who cast spells, and has got a hat, pointy hat, and she's got a magic wand and a spell book. So this witch that we need is W-H, what? It's witch. This witch is the person, the noun witch. This one is asking you either or. Before long, his dad and granddad arrived, and Dan listened to them argue over which broom worked better. So remember, Gaudi, your first idea may not be the best one, and you can always go back, edit and check, which, as I said at the beginning, some of you do need to go back and edit your work because you've completed it all. Never mind. But let's see what our tasks are. Here we go. Let's move this so we can all see you all. Right, we've written our 2 sentences this morning. Challenge 1. So today, I didn't ask Mrs. Gabella to write these sentences. I let her have a rest today. Now, these sentences are mixed up. So for example, you have this picture of Dan and he's flying and it says, can Dan fly? Right, we need to rearrange, that means swap the order of the words. So it says, Dan can fly. And you need to make sure you put your capital letter and your full stop at the end. What's Dan doing here? He's climbing. So Dan can climb. Climb, can, Dan. I think that's quite right. So you need to put it, so you need to rearrange the words so it says, so the sentence says Dan can climb, and you need to do the last one, which I'm not going to go through because I think you can go do that one by yourselves. Challenge 2. We'd like you to write 2 sentences. Your sentence starter is then and before long. Extra superstar challenge. Can you use the word because? Challenge 3, 2 sentences again. Can you please use conjunctions, any conjunction you like, and adjectives? You could describe the broom, you could describe the moon or the anchor. And I've got adjectives. Why is it so slow today? There we go. And our conjunctions are on here. So remember, guys, I'm going to say this for the 3rd time. If you have written your story, which a few of you have, please can you go back and add commas in the list, add adjectives, add conjunctions. You don't need to write it out again unless you haven't got any space. Use another coloured pen and edit your work. Okay, looking forward to seeing you tomorrow, and we will finish our story. Bye, Gaudi.